The new Spider-Man movie, Spider-Man No Way Home, will be released on December 17th, just a couple of weeks from today. And so a lot of news has been popping up about, the future of Tom Holland as Spider-Man, the franchise in general, and rumors of a big new trilogy being in the works are also being mentioned. So let's get into all that stuff. Welcome to the newest episode of SDW.
Super Dario World!
Okay, so full transparency here. I have not seen any of the trailers for the new Spider-Man movie. I'm excited for it. I will watch it. I'm actually very much looking forward to it, but I don't watch trailers anymore. I tend to avoid them because they have too many spoilers. And sometimes it's intentional, sometimes it isn't. But let's say, for example, I'll never forget this. Let's say in Captain America Civil War. And I remember in one of the trailers, you see a building explode, right? And I'm like, all right, okay, so that building explodes in the movie. And then when you're watching the movie, they set up a particular location. It's a big wide shot to set up location, and they're showing you that building. So I'm like, I already know that building's gonna blow up. So I lost all the tension. So it's because of that reason. I mean, for some reason, trailers now, they tell you the entire fucking movie. I'm like, why would I even watch the movie? I already know the story. So I tend to avoid them because of that. I learned that lesson the hard way. But I have been following a little bits and pieces of news. Not too many, because again, I don't want the spoilers, and I'm very much looking forward to this movie, and I already knew that I'm gonna watch it. But I have seen the Doc Ock stuff. I've seen the memes and stuff. So I'm informed. I just haven't watched it completely because I want to avoid spoilers. But whatever. It doesn't matter. Before I get into anything, let me give you a quick reminder that any comments, questions, or suggestions, you can find me at Super Dario World on YouTube and on Twitch, streaming live Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday, usually, except, this week. This one is actually a pre-recording. You're going to see it pre-recorded. It might not even be this one, because it might not... It all depends on how the Alec Baldwin thing goes. I don't know. Well, you might see this, you might not. Whatever. You may be seeing this on Wednesday. Who knows? But, yeah. Also, next week, I think I'm going out of town as well. So, listen, my schedule is going to get a little bit crazy once again. And sorry about that. Whatever. Doesn't matter. If you want to check out my adventures and my travels, you can do that on Instagram at DarioSDW. Always, like, subscribe. I really appreciate it. It really helps me out. But let's get into this whole Spider-Man business. So, first off, like I said, new movie comes out December 17th. I'm excited for it because this, for the first time, actually feels like an important Spider-Man movie. What does that mean? The other two don't really feel like they're part of the MCU, especially the first one. It feels like Spider-Man is definitely not a part of anything, and that's bad because this is Spider-Man. Spider-Man is, I've said it many times before, the crown jewel of the Marvel Universe. And I don't mean the Marvel Cinematic Universe, I mean Marvel in general. He's probably the most beloved character, he's probably the most popular, he's probably the most recognizable for many reasons. My theory, it's because Peter Parker was a geek. He's a geek. And then he got superpowers, which is the dream of what geeks. And who read comic books? Geeks. So yeah, I think that's the reason why the audience fell in love with him, why they related to Peter Parker so much. But it could be many reasons. Maybe people like spiders, right? Sure, that's the reason. Anyway, he's just pretty well written. Anyway, so there's been a lot of rumors coming out about this movie, a lot of speculation. I'm curious to see how they handle this whole multiverse stuff. I did not love a lot of things that happened there. I'm not. If you listened to my shows before, I'm not big on let's say multiverse stuff. It gets, let's just say, things get tricky. It could be fun, but things get a little bit tricky, and they have to make up a whole bunch of shenanigans in order to make other things work. But whatever, we can. What's making that noise? Anyway, it doesn't matter. So we'll see. I'll wait. I'll wait till I'll give you a review when it comes out. But the big important thing here is that there's after since the actors are doing press runs and all that stuff, and it's been talked about by the actor Tom Holland, who plays Spider-Man, who plays Peter Parker, that he does not plan on playing Peter Parker anymore. He doesn't. He plans on giving up the web, and so. Not exactly. Here you're going to see a roller coaster of things, because first says one thing, then another, then one thing. So here you go. He said this in an interview with GQ. maybe it is time for me to move on. Maybe that's what's best for Spider-Man, is that they do Miles Morales film. They already made a Miles Morales film, by the way, but I have to take Peter Parker into account as well, because he is an important part of my life. If I'm playing Spider-Man after I'm 30, I've done something wrong. So that's an interesting tidbit there, because at first I'm like, all right, the first part of that sentence, like, maybe I'll be Spider-Man, maybe I won't. It's like, all right, he's negotiating in public, basically. He's negotiating through the media. They're like, hey, Disney, Sony, give me more money, right? Because my contract is done and I want it. And if you want this Spider-Man to continue, you gotta give me more money. But the part of him, like, maybe if I'm playing Spider-Man after I'm 30, I've done something wrong. Maybe that sounds like he's, I don't know, looking at it as a professional thing. I don't see why it would be a bad thing. As long as here's the thing. Actors, as long as what you're doing is good content, you should be proud of your work. There's nothing wrong with playing superhero, or in fact, it's not easy to play certain superheroes, especially Spider-Man. Spider-Man, you have to play him and be liked by everybody. You know how hard that is? It's extremely difficult. It's not an easy character to portray. You need a lot of charm, which fortunately Tom Holland has, at least until this point, he's been able to show. So it's not something to not be proud of. I'd be very proud of playing Spider-Man after I'm 30, and I am after 30 now. I'd be happy to play a Spider-Man. I'm not sure which one. Maybe I'll play like the loser one from the from the Miles Morales film. Who knows? Actually, that'd be hysterical. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. He also a co-star from Spider-Man, Jacob Batalon, says that he talks about being that Tom Holland plays about portraying James Bond a lot, quote unquote, a lot. Tom, I get it, he's British. I just don't see him as James Bond. He's too small. He's a really small guy. But then again, here's the thing. Tom Cruise is also a very small guy. So the question then comes, is Tom Holland charming enough, disarming enough to play James Bond? So far, I haven't seen it. Kid's a good actor. Still has potential. He's still very young. It could be that he can do it. I just don't see it at this point. Maybe it's because he's done too much kind of like funny stuff. I need to see him in a more mature role, and we've never actually seen Tom Holland as the seducer. So, and again, that's a very important part of James Bond. Well, doesn't matter. Anyway, let's move on. He goes on to say, I might start shooting The Crowded Room and go, you know what? This is what I'm going to do for the rest of my life. Or I might go do Spider-Man 4, 5, and 6, finish when I'm 32, and never make another. I'm not sure what I want to do. Now, I get that. I completely understand that. Honestly, it's probably at the end of it, it's all going to come about. It's all going to be about the money. If you offer somebody enough money, they'll do something probably. Or it depends on what they offer him. It's all about the offer that they give you financially, and if you care about the art at all, it's about what project they put in front of you. So I think it's part of it. It's okay. Yes, it is negotiating in public, but I think that his heart is also like, do I want to keep doing this? Do I want to stay in this job all this time? Because it comes with a lot of restrictions. It comes with a lot of responsibilities. Maybe I want to do something else. Maybe I already made enough money. Maybe I want to do my own thing. Maybe I want to produce my own stuff. It's not exactly clear, but so far, I don't know. I think what makes this particular statement heavy is that it seems authentic. Tom Holland seems like an authentic guy, but we'll see. Now, we have a little bit of news about a new Spider-Man trilogy. So this comes, again, Tom Holland saying that this is right almost back to back with Tom Holland saying, yeah, I'm not sure if I'm going to keep playing Spider-Man anymore. Amy Pascal, who's a producer for Sony, made this statement. This is not the last movie that we're going to make with Marvel. This is not the last Spider-Man movie. We're getting ready to make the next Spider-Man movie with Tom Holland and Marvel. It just isn't part of. We're thinking of this as 3 films, and now we're going to go on to the next 3. This is not the last of our MCU movies. Now that is a really odd statement, and I'm going to read it again with the pause and all. So, we're getting ready to make the next Spider-Man movie with Tom Holland and Marvel. It just isn't part of ... We're thinking of it of this as 3 films, and now we're going on to the next 3. This is not the last of our MCU movies. So it's not exactly clear what she didn't say there. It isn't just part of ... It's not clear, but they're thinking of No Way Home, Far From Home, Homecoming, Far From Home, No Way Home as 3 films, and now they're moving on to the next 3. So they're planning on, basically they're saying they're planning a new trilogy, and it's it's interesting because, all right, let's continue. Pascal stated that No Way Home will prove to be the culmination of the Homecoming trilogy of the story of Tom Holland becoming the Spider-Man that we've all been waiting for him to be. So again, this might be a story of becoming. What is Spider-Man going to become? So they're playing another trilogy, which is honestly a good thing. Because so far, the issue with the movies is that they haven't felt important. This one could actually make it feel important, and they could actually find a way to center Spider-Man in the MCU. Now, it all comes down to what deals they can make with Marvel, between Marvel and Disney and all that stuff. It's like, hey, all right, do we for sure have Spider-Man for the next 3 films? All right, cool, then let's get on to it. Let's move on. Again, I feel like this is a lot of negotiating happening out in the surface. You know, it's negotiating via media. I think Amy Pascal, again, from Sony, she's trying to say like, hey, Disney, we're in it. The fans want this. We're ready for 3 more films. What do you say? So it's very important to add that according to the Hollywood Reporter, I'll just say this. In addition, the Hollywood Reporter brings word that despite Pascal's recent statement regarding the potential new trilogy, there are reportedly, quote, no official plans for a trilogy at this phase, but Sony hopes to continue their collaboration and strong relationship with Holland and Feige. Again, this is from Kevin Feige. Kevin Feige is saying, he's the head of Marvel, basically. He's saying, like, listen, this is not confirmed. Like, there's nothing, we haven't signed anything yet. So, like I said, this is all a big roller coaster of things. And let's just finish up with the last thing that Tom Holland said. So, after Pascal made the big announcement of, yeah, all right, so we are making a new Spider-Man trilogy with Marvel and with Tom Holland. And then Feige being like, yeah, we don't really have anything in the works yet. Or we haven't really confirmed anything yet. Then Tom Holland comes out and says, listen, all I'll say is, well, okay, he did this in an interview with a French talk show. And he said, listen, all I'll say is we have something very, very exciting. All that I'll say is we have some very, very exciting things to be talking about. I don't know what those things are or what they will transpire to mean, but it looks like it's an incredibly bright future ahead. And as I've said before, Spider-Man will forever live in me. So that is a big answer. You know, it's a very, very big answer by actor Tom Holland. It could mean anything. It could be that he's got a new deal with Sony to direct his own movie, to produce something. Who knows, honestly. It could be that he has to deal with Disney. Who knows? Again, it was a very, very, very vague answer. But if we're sticking to Spider-Man here, I think, again, this is all negotiating via media. And it's silly. Honestly, I don't get it, but whatever. Feige even says that they want to continue the collaboration, but they have no official plans. And Sony saying that they have official plans. And Tom Holland saying, yeah, I don't want to do this, but we're talking about exciting things. It's all stupid. It's honestly all stupid. And it's all just to build up hype for the movie that's coming out. I think, if I'm being honest, I think that maybe Feige, what he wanted to do is make people think like, oh, this might be Tom Holland's final film. Like, that's the direction that they were going. Like, this is going to be his final film. You got to watch it because it's the last time Tom Holland will play Spider-Man. And who knows, maybe Spider-Man dies in this one. And then Sony comes out and he's like, we're working on 3 more. And and Feige's like, no, we're not. Shut the fuck up. And Tom Holland's like, we're talking about exciting things. Who knows? So, at the end, I think they're going to do it because money talks. In this industry, money always talks. And the fans seem to like Tom Holland's work. So far, I like Tom Holland's work. The issue has been the movies in general. They've been okay. They just haven't felt important. If they make Spider-Man the centerpiece of the MCU in this particular phase, that would be fantastic. If they manage to lock Tom Holland down and lock the rights from Sony for phase 2 of the MCU, and he picks, again, they're saying that this is a movie about becoming Spider-Man, then this is the movie about Spider-Man, about Tom Holland taking up the mantle of Tony Stark and Captain America, and him being the guy for the MCU, him being the guy, and whatever happens in this phase happens in this phase. If he ends up dying at the end, if he ends up retiring, if he ends up hanging it up and just, you know, riding off into the sunset the way that Steve Rogers did, that'd be fantastic. But they need to make up their fucking minds. They need to get things in fucking writing and be like, okay, this is what we're doing. This is the plan for Spider-Man. We have him for this amount of time. We're going to use him to the best of as much as we can, because he's going to be they need. I've talked about this so many times. They don't have the guy right now. Who's the face of the MCU right now? Nobody. They don't have anybody who's like, all right, this is the centerpiece. They're trying to make Doctor Strange. All right, he's not that well known. Ant-Man, maybe, but again, he's not the guy. He's a follower. I would argue that Hank Pym is a more of a leader, but Hank Pym's not the guy. Bruce Banner, the Hulk doesn't even have his own movie, at least with Mark Ruffalo. They need something. They need something that they could build around, and Spider-Man is, like I said, the crown jewel of the Marvel universe in general. They need to build around him. Just get your heads out of your asses. You have the money for it, Disney. Build around Spider-Man. You won't regret it. Spider-Man is generally a sure bet. It depends on who writes him, but it's generally a good bet. So there you go. That's it. That's it for today. As always, like I said, any comments, questions, or suggestions, you can find me at Super Dario World, streaming live. Not this week, probably. I'm out of town. This is Friday. I don't even know what day is supposed. I think I'm gonna do this on Friday. So next week, Tuesday, probably I'll be live streaming again. If you want to join me, be a part of the chat, 10 a.m. Pacific. If you want to join me on Instagram, if you check out my stories on Instagram at Dario SDW. This is my third one that I've recorded today, so I'm a little burnt out. But as always, so that's it. You know, as always, thank you for joining me, and I'll see you again next time.